Hello and welcome to After Class with Evan and Aidan. We are here for you today with our new podcast. I'm not good at intros. Welcome. We are going to be starting this podcast as a way of hopefully getting to know our school community a little bit better and providing something interesting for our student community. So today's podcast will just be me, Aidan Zalati, and my co-host, Evan Luna.
Hi.
That's Evan. And we're going to try to work out some of the details of what exactly this podcast is going to be about, what you can expect in future episodes. So firstly, what is this podcast about? Evan, what is this podcast about?
Well, Aidan, we hope to get teachers from the school, bring them onto the podcast, and sort of interview them so that, you know, people could listen on their favorite teacher, learn more about them, or people who are having the teacher for the first time can see what the teacher's like before their class.
That's exactly right, Evan. So we're going to try to bring in some teachers, maybe suggested by you guys, if you wanted to leave a comment on these videos, which will be going up on the HD Media YouTube, I believe. Right?
No. Room 141.
Is it room 141?
Whatever channel you're looking at.
Wherever you are, you can leave a comment on this in some way, or email us, or send mail to our house and say, we want this teacher on. So today's podcast, just me and Evan, and we'll discuss some of that. But we'll have teachers hopefully by our next episode, which should be next week after this uploads. So schedule-wise, we're hoping to upload something at least once a week with a special teacher guest. Somebody you guys have picked or somebody we think is interesting and we could talk to and give you a better idea of the kind of person they are. And we will probably be doing that, I'm guessing, for a run of about 10 episodes if we go bi-weekly. Until the end of school, right?
No promises. As many as we get.
Yeah, as many as we get. We are in grade 12. This is second semester. So after when the summer comes along, we won't be here anymore. So we won't have the studio that we're in right now. We won't have a lot of the stuff that we have. We might continue this, but I think more likely we'd pass it on to somebody.
Right.
Of course, this podcast, as we film this first episode that hasn't been aired yet, we have no idea if we're going to do this next week. Right? But hopefully we can get somebody.
I don't want this to die after episod 0, I guess.
Episode 0. Not even post. Doesn't even make it to post-production. Yeah, I don't know. I hope if this does become something, of value to the school channel, that, we could make it a real thing, have people replace us, because I guess we never really introduced ourselves, did we?
No, we said we were Evan and Aidan.
We give our names, but these people don't care who we are.
Do they need to care? I'm a voice. I'm a waveform on a computer. You don't care about me.
Yeah, he's a squiggly line.
That doesn't matter.
I, on the other hand, am a human being.
This is the first ever podcast with a human and an AI.
Yeah, a human and a waveform. So, I guess I'll give an introduction so people know who we are and why they should care about the fact that it's us, even though they really shouldn't.
No.
This is something to build up some sort of relationship. I don't know how podcasts work. I don't watch podcasts. I'm the worst person to be doing this.
Really glad that we're making a podcast.
Right?
Talk about how little we know about podcasts.
Yeah, how little we know what we're doing.
Look, it's the concept, not the actual no, it's the substance, not the...
You're trying to say it's the idea of the podcast and not the fact that the podcast is valuable in any way?
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's pretty fair. Anyways, so Evan and I guess we could both say we're tech students, right? Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I've been in the tech program for about 4 years. Evan, 3.
2 and I guess a half.
I'd say co-op kind of counts. So you'd be going from...
Well, I'm doing co-op and a tech class. So.
That's what I mean. But the co-op is just tech class, right?
Sure. It's basically the same thing.
It's essentially the same thing. So we decided to spend a little bit of our free time in our grade 12 year, because our class is sort of just free for all. Pick a project that you're interested in, do it. we decided to spend some of that time on this podcast because, as Evan said earlier, we are hoping that maybe we could do something of like real production value for the school, I guess, because as of right now, like as of recording, the HT Media channel is going up slowly but like steadily in terms of value. Like we have like decent live streams with thumbnails and graphics and all those things. So I think it would be cool to have something like this on there. And also, like you said, to maybe leave something so that new kids coming to school, like 9th, 10th graders can.
I feel like that's like the most useful reason for it, right? Because I remember being in grade 9, I had to walk up to a bunch of grade 12s. They were just sitting in a room. I had to be like, is this person, this person?
Did you ever do that?
They had like one day where you can walk to some students and just be like, and they'd just be like, oh, this teacher's like decent, and that's all you get to know about them.
It all right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember ever doing that. I was always so afraid to talk to grade 12s when I was in grade 9. Like genuinely terrified.
But hopefully with this.
Well, yeah, we're hoping that like through this podcast, so I think right now we're hoping that our first guest will be Mr. S.W.A.K.
Save it.
Maybe
we got
do we have
some surprise.
Okay,
guests,
well,
right?
Yeah, that may change.
You didn't hear that.
Shh, don't tell anybody. We're not sure exactly who it'll be yet.
No,
but we're hoping that somebody can watch this podcast as a grade 9 or grade 10 student who's never had that teacher and maybe see this podcast and say, I have that teacher coming up in math or science or gym or whatever. I wonder what they're like.
Right.
And we are hoping to give you an honest representation of these teachers. Like we'll of course, ask them about their career and stuff, but we're hoping to show you what kind of person they are, and let them speak for themselves a little bit in a way that they can present themselves to a new student and try to welcome them into the school, I guess, right?
Yeah, I don't want this to be like we're pulling in a bunch of teachers and we're putting them in the hot seat and we're grilling them for questions.
Yeah, this is not an interrogation, hopefully. And I'm hoping that anybody who does watch this who's not like familiar with the school will come to find that a lot of our teachers are very nice people.
We have some good teachers.
We do.
We're lucky.
We have very good teachers.
We're very lucky.
I've heard about teachers from like other high schools and they like don't compare.
Right.
Like genuinely, like when I talk to some of my coworkers about like people from like teachers from VDHS, there are some that they like, but they don't have like characters like we do.
I don't know. I can't think of any teacher that's been like actually. I wouldn't call them out on the podcast, but I'm genuine when I say that. I don't.
Hello, teacher. You were boring. Talk about that. Like that?
Well, I mean, like I can't think of any teachers that I've actually just not liked in our high school.
That's
no,
true.
like
that's very
vice principals or anything, right?
Mm.
I think Borgia's really nice.
You know what, Borgia? Yeah,
Borgia's really nice.
I forgot Borgia was a VP.
Right?
Borgia's a very nice guy.
You seem like a teacher.
Borgia's very friendly. He does enforce. He does his warden duties, but he is the friendly warden.
Right.
He's like, before we had like maximum security wardens, Borgia is like the healing lodge warden.
He's very understanding.
He is very chill.
When I got called to the office, it was like, I assumed that it was gonna be like, you're in trouble, no appeal. But he was very understanding when I talked to him. Yeah,
like you can actually talk to him
right.
Yeah. Borgia would be interesting to get on the show. If we could get Bebier and Borgia in here one day, I know they're very busy.
Those are
big
VIPs.
Yeah, those are VIPs. Like I may as well call like.
Is Al Pacino getting any work? Can we get Al Pacino for an episode?
Al Pacino? Does Al Pacino still act?
He was in that Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, we could get him. Yeah, we could get him. He needs it. He needs it. He needs the exposure, to be honest, after that. He needs work on like a decent production after an Adam Sandler movie.
Crazy, you can go from like Scarface to Adam Sandler movie 12.
Yeah, there really is like, there's no better example of a person who fell off than Al Pacino. Okay. Wasn't there like, I don't know, with Adam Sandler, wasn't there like a good Adam Sandler movie that came out recently though?
I've never liked his sense of humor, so I couldn't tell you. I think Adam Sandler is just like, I'm gonna say something crude and hurt myself by accident. Uh-oh.
I think, yeah, like I can't even remember like that last Adam Sandler movie I watched because they're all very forgettable.
He plays the same character in every movie.
He does. And that's what I mean. Like, I don't remember an Adam Sandler character that I'm like, oh, that was a good character. It was just Adam Sandler.
Right.
He's one of those actors who plays himself.
I don't want to get controversial on episode 0
Yeah.
of our only podcast, but people say Billy Madison is a really, really funny movie. And I just feel like it's the same as every other Adam Sandler. I don't have nostalgia for it. But Billy Madison, it's not. Have you seen Billy Madison?
I have not. So
all right.
You're talking to the viewers here.
It's just, I don't know. This might be a very, a very solo opinion, but Adam Sandler is just Adam Sandler in every movie.
I think I agree with you just based on the fact that, again, I can't remember many Adam Sandler movies because they don't interest me either.
Right.
But like when you think of a movie, for me, when I see like Morgan Freeman or Willem Dafoe in a movie, they play themselves.
Right.
They don't play whatever character is. I'm like, oh, that's Morgan Freeman, and that's the character. The character is Morgan Freeman because they're so good at such a specific role. It's like Tobey Maguire is another one. I feel like Tobey Maguire is so distinct as an actor after his days in Spider-Man that you just know him as Tobey Maguire and not as whatever character he's playing.
Sure.
Did I tell you about that one movie that I watched with Tobey Maguire?
No.
It was Brothers, and it's the movie where Tobey Maguire plays a Marine who goes to Afghanistan and his helicopter gets shot down. He gets imprisoned by like the Taliban for like a while.
Oh my god!
And the plot is his brother. He's like the good brother, but his other brother who's back in U.S. wherever, like Pennsylvania, whatever. He's like the bad brother, right? Like he's in and out of jail. He's doing that kind of thing. And when Toby gets lost in Afghanistan, his brother goes and takes care of his family. And then they start to, like, his brother starts to build a connection with like his wife. And then Toby comes back and he's like super traumatized and stuff. And it's like that conflict with him and his brother. It's very serious.
Spoilers for the movie Brother, I guess.
I guess.
That's crazy. I can't imagine.
It's an old movie.
Maguire.
It's like 2008.
I can't imagine Tobey Maguire in a role that isn't just like lighthearted, funny.
Yeah, that's the thing, because while I'm watching that movie, I don't remember Tobey Maguire's character name. I just know it was Tobey Maguire because it's just, I'm watching Spider-Man come back from Afghanistan.
That's crazy.
It's really hard. Like, he did a good job. Now, he did actually a pretty good job.
Sure.
Like, surprisingly good at playing that role. You would not see him. I wouldn't see him as playing a role of like a traumatized soldier very well, but I think he did.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like a good actor, but he's just himself.
That's great. I think to pull to the other Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield actually was in a movie kind of similar.
Really?
And he had to play a serious role where he was like a doctor in like a warfield.
It was.
I think it was on the beaches of Normandy or something.
No, I watched that movie. It was a pretty like.
It was Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge, yeah, he played the medic in Hacksaw Ridge.
He was really, really good in that movie.
I do not want to carry a weapon, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, he was good in that movie.
It's just great. It really shows like
the impact of Spider-Man.
The impact. No, the actors. The actors were so good because I don't like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. I think they're poorly written.
Right.
But Andrew Garfield is such a really good like he's good in The Social Network. He's good in Hacksaw Ridge.
No, like that's what I mean. Like they're good actors, and I think the Spider-Man movies
they catch you by surprise.
Yeah. And I guess it just shows that they can play serious roles.
Yeah, I guess so.
Where does that make Tom Holland's then?
Well,
is it Uncharted?
He's going to be in Uncharted, but
is that his Hacksaw Ridge?
I've heard some bad things about Uncharted. I was
going to go see that with Josh and Isaiah.
I don't know. I haven't heard terrible things. I've heard some people complain.
Yeah. I doubt it will ever come up again, but I am a huge Uncharted fan.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think I've told you, like, my second favorite game of all time is Uncharted 4.
He just doesn't look like Nathan Drake.
He does not. No. Do you know the guy who plays Sully, Mark Wahlberg?
Sure, yeah.
Was supposed to play Nathan Drake.
And he wasn't?
And it took so long in production that they moved him to the role of Sully, who was like 30 years older than Drake.
I think Al Pacino could have played Sully.
Isn't Al Pacino like really old and frail though?
Isn't Sully really old?
No, but he's like, Sully is like, oh my back. I can't do a Sully voice. He's, I wouldn't say he's frail. He's old and he suffers from like back pain in the games, but like, he's still very capable. Like he's going with Nathan. Like he's flying planes, he's doing that stuff. Al Pacino, doesn't he just kind of sit there and go,
I don't know. All I know is that I think they chose Tom Holland because Tom Holland is a good actor and he's popular right now. I don't think they actually were like, we need someone that looks like Nathan Drake. Let's get Tom Holland.
Yeah, and I guess I know that it's supposed to. I'm pretty sure the story is supposed to take place before the games. So
You see him in the
because in the games he's like a 30-year-old man,
I guess.
and Tom Holland will never look older than a 16-year-old boy.
That's true. That's true.
He'll be on his deathbed and he'll look like he's like 25.
I mean,
Right? I don't know. I don't think he's a bad actor, but
I'm trying to imagine Tom Holland with a beard and just it doesn't click in my head. I can't see it.
yeah, I wonder. I don't know. Is there like pictures of him? Has he ever grown facial hair? Because I really can't picture him with any.
I've never seen Tom Holland.
It'll be interesting to see if he has some for Uncharted, because Nathan Drake does.
Well, in the trailers, you didn't see any.
True. So I guess he just can't, and they're just like, we're not just gonna make up stubble onto you.
I think the identifying look for him is the baby face. And I don't know. I guess they don't want him to grow out a beard.
Yeah.
Or also just look like Mark Wahlberg with smaller.
Are you saying that? Are you saying
I'm
that
saying
Tom Holland looks like Mark Wahlberg?
if Tom Holland were to grow out a beard and be in the Uncharted movie, I think he would just look like a smaller Mark Wahlberg.
He would look like his son.
He'd be like mini me, but for Mark Wahlberg.
I mean, doesn't Tom Holland have like brown hair though?
Mark
Wahlberg has like dark black hair.
I can't think of what Marky Mark looks like right now.
I think he has dark black hair.
Okay.
Which again, Sully in the games doesn't have. But you know,
I don't think they're basing off the games. I think they're
yeah.
basing it off of a movie format story.
Well,
That's purely it.
I guess let me conclude my gamer rant.
Okay.
In the trailers, they have scenes from the games, and the games are famous for having like movie-like set pieces. Like in the third game, that was kind of the biggest problem with it, is that they just had a bunch of levels that were like, I think it's not a spoiler. You see it in the trailer, like the plane scene. Did you ever play that game?
I didn't ever get much further than like the beginning of Uncharted 1, sadly.
That's sad. But in the third game, there's a scene where they're flying a plane, and Nathan Drake is in the back of the plane, and he basically, like through some sort of series of events, he flies out of the plane. It's a ridiculous scenario, but it fits the games because Nathan Drake's like one key thing is that he survives things he really should not. Like the guy will fall off a mountain and he'll just be fine.
Right.
And that's kind of like a recurring thing. So he literally falls out of a plane. And that is in the movie, I think. But it's just a scene from the game. It's from the third game. It happened.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they're basing it off the games. I think they're taking elements from the games and taking new ideas and putting it into a movie format. You know?
Doesn't that limit story though? Like I know it's really cool, but like
you can just write something new for the next movie. You don't have to.
I think this is a new story. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's based on, because really they couldn't have had an easier video game movie. The games are just movies themselves pretty much. Like story wise, you could have just like shot for shot remade one of the games. But I know they tried to do something different, but they tried to incorporate the most iconic stunts into it. And I haven't seen it yet. I'm really worried that it'll screw it up.
I don't know. I guess you'll have to find out.
Hello?
Hi, Mr. McLaughlin. Our teacher, Mr. McLaughlin, has just walked in on our podcast. Now he looks really disappointed because he didn't realize we're recording.
Our first guest of the podcast.
Welcome. Wow,
Thanks for having me.
that was really early. I promised them no teachers until next week, but
Special guest, surprise.
is there anything you'd like to say?
I'm glad to be part of the first edition, first season, episode 1. Yeah. Thanks for having me, and I hope to be back again for another visit.
All right. Thank you,
Next
Mr. McLaughlin, our first guest. I guess we forgot to put a recording sign on the door.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think there is one there.
To be fair, we're basically recording this in a closet.
Yeah.
So.
Nah, that's true. A non-soundproof closet. I hope the audio turns out good on this, man.
I guess we'll find out.
I guess we will.
If people are listening to this, then it sounded okay. If people aren't, then we'll never know.
Yeah, this will just be buried in one of our Google Drives or something. Anyway, where were we?
You were talking about.
I was ranting about movies.
You were ranting about video game movies.
I was mansplaining about the Uncharted movie. I don't know. I'm gonna go see it anyways. Like I don't. I'm worried it's gonna be terrible, and I'm ready for that possibility.
I don't think it could be terrible.
I need the closure.
That's fair.
I need to see it happen. I've never understood why people like will go watch like Star Wars and come back being like, I hated that movie. I absolutely hated it. I'm gonna go watch the next one. You know what I mean?
Well, I did that just because I wanted like to see if they would do something good with the story. There's things I liked in the story, but they always just like found a bad way of using it in the film. There's like elements I like. There's characters I want to be further developed. There's villains that I want to see more. There's like reoccurring like, oh, this thing happened last movie. I wonder if it's going to affect the next. And they always just drop the ball.
Well, what was I assume you've watched them all. What was your opinion of the last like 3 Star Wars movies? I watched all 3 in theaters.
Really unpopular opinion. I don't like them. When I saw them in theaters.
Wow, that's bold.
When I saw them in theaters.
Don't cancel them yet, guys. Give them at least another episode.
When I saw them in theaters, I initially was like overwhelmed by how much like fan service things there were. Like, oh, it's Chewbacca. Oh, it's Han Solo. Oh, it's Luke's lightsaber.
Right.
Stuff like that. And I initially thought that they were good movies in the theater, but looking at like the actual story and stuff like that, I don't even know how I was tricked. And I feel like a lot of other people are being tricked just because like you see, oh, it's Luke, oh, it's this, but it's written so poorly. I don't even really like the prequels that much. I think they're funny, but they're not anything like special in terms of movies, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, the prequels, that really is not a controversial take.
No.
I don't think anybody over the age of like 12 probably doesn't like the prequels.
There's good adaptations of the prequels. I know that like the Clone Wars show is supposed to be really good.
Maybe that's a bad take. Maybe I just alienated our entire viewer base of prequel lovers.
Well, we can check the statistics and see where everyone stopped listening.
Yeah, we can see the viewership drop off 10 seconds ago. I don't know, like with the last 3 movies, I didn't mind Force Awakens that much. And I actually, when I watched Last Jedi, at least like in theaters at first, I haven't watched it again since. So I don't really...
That was episode 7, right? The one you didn't mind?
That 7 was Force Awakens, I think, which is the first one of the new trilogy.
Okay.
The Last Jedi, which is the one with the cool starship going through the other one, like the kamikaze, you know the thing.
Yes.
That one, I actually didn't mind that much when I watched it in theaters. I didn't hate it. The last one sucked. The last one I couldn't get down with.
The last one was really bad. The Starship one, it was so messy. They introduced so many things so poorly. I don't want to turn this into the movie rant podcast. That could be its own thing. Me and you talking about movies that we love and hate.
That is true, except the fact that I've seen like 20% of the movies that you've seen.
Well, we can watch a movie and then talk about it.
That is true. Yeah, and then we're just director's commentary. Is that coming up on the waveform?
I don't know. I'm gonna cut it out.
There's mass screaming happening in the room next to us.
Oh, and now it's stopped. Okay,
we're good. We're back, safe. And it really was the gate of hell just opening there for a second.
As soon as it closed, you could stop hearing the screams of the damned.
Yikes. Yeah, in regards to the podcast, like I don't think we're going to be talking about movies all the time. This is just because it's you and me, and we're talking about the things that we like to talk about, right?
I think this was a good start, you know.
Yeah, because then when we have like teachers on here,
we'll have a more grounded sort of.
It's going to be more of an interview format, so there will be more dynamic topics coming up. When Nitty comes on here, if Nitty comes on here, we will talk about Spider-Man again.
Oh, definitely.
Because Nitty loves Spider-Man. But sorry, the gates have opened once again. Can we tell them? We can't stop them from doing that, right?
No.
We're powerless against these demons.
We're powerless.
Okay.
When Nitty starts from where you just were. When Nitty comes back.
When Nitty comes back, I think we're definitely gonna have to talk about Spider-Man again because he loves Spider-Man.
Yeah. I'd really like talking about Spider-Man with Nitty.
Yeah, and he likes Spider-Man. So I still have not seen the new Spider-Man movie.
You haven't seen the new
But
Spider-Man?
I don't know the plot of it. I have not had it spoiled for me, Evan. So I'm, as my friend, I'm trusting you.
I'm on a podcast. I'm not going to say anything about the movie.
Oh, that's true. After the podcast ends, then you'll spoil it for me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I have decency.
Yeah, spare the viewers. Yeah, I still haven't seen that. Which I'm waiting for the digital release to come out, and like I'm not pressed about it. Like I'm not a Spider-Man fanboy. I don't really care.
Okay,
but
that's fair.
I'd rather go into it blind because people say it's good. I've had people tell me it's better than Infinity War.
I feel that's a pretty. I
Is
feel that's a pretty popular take. Yeah.
Is it really? Like, is it that good? In
I'm
your
not
opinion?
gonna-
'Cause
I'm
I
not-
trust your take on this.
I'm not gonna say anything about the movie. I really liked it. I'll say that.
I mean, fair enough. But yeah, I know Mr. Nitty really, really likes it because when he went and watched it on like release day, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Like he had premiere tickets
I'm sure
like an
he
hour
did.
after it came out, and he's like, he came up to me one day and he's just like, just out of nowhere, he's just like, you should go watch the new Spider-Man movie. It's pretty good. It's really good. You really got to watch it. And I'm like, okay, Mr. Nitty, sure. Like I haven't yet, but you know,
It'd be great.
I could never say that to his face.
It'd be great having long-term conversations about
The whole
Spider-Man.
the whole thing would be Nitty talking about Spider-Man because he's very passionate.
I feel like I don't even care about if we're showing off Nitty and like him as a teacher at that point. I think I just like talking to Nitty about Spider-Man for a full episode.
Yeah. Well, that's probably what it's going to turn into because like
Maybe.
I have questions like ready for them, kind of like basic stuff, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
about who like just defining questions so that people get an idea of who we're talking to. But after a certain point, it's just going to be free for all. Like if Nitty wants to talk about Spider-Man for 45 minutes, we'll do that.
I guess we'll have to find out.
I guess we will.
This was a good test run, but I think it's time we wrap it up.
Is it? All right then. Well, thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of After Class with Evan and Aidan. Hope you enjoyed this. As we've said, we are planning to have some teacher guests on the show, and we're not really sure who we want yet. So if you have any suggestions and you liked our podcast, leave a comment down below. And leave us a suggestion who you want to see, and even if you have some questions that you'd like answered from that teacher, we would appreciate those too. All right, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, listening. Damn it, podcast. We're on a podcast. You're listening. Oh, we have to scrap it. God, we were so close. Throw it away.
That's in the end.
Yeah. Perfect.